And like I said, although all UK citizens will have a digital ID, it will not be mandatory for people to use it. It'll be entirely their choice.
I think we should have a movement where we just do not get these ID cards. I don't know how they're going to issue these ID cards, but what I can tell you now is I will not be using this digital ID card. That is a fact. So I think other people, should make this a movement and not be using these digital ID cards. Now, another thing, apparently these digital ID cards will be used. So if you are trying to get employment, you will give the employer this digital ID card and it will verify that you are, a UK citizen. So I think this is what's going to happen. People are going to have a backlash, an uproar about these digital ID cards, and more people are going to pay less tax because they'll be doing cash in hand work. So really, the government and Keir Starmer, I think they've probably ruined this one, to be honest, probably for themselves, because if you think about it, the country's just going to go more downhill just because they're rolling out these digital ID cards that no one asked for.
Digital ID mandatory for everyone. Was that in the manifesto? Did anyone vote for that? Where's the consent? Where's the public discussion? None at all. So we do live in a democracy, do we? Anyway, you can't fight against digital ID because this is to protect the women and children from immigrants. Wow.
Mandatory digital ID cards are not going to do a single thing to stop illegal immigrants getting jobs in the UK, because the people who are hiring illegal immigrants in the UK are doing it illegally because they don't have to pay them a livable wage. If they're not asking for their national insurance number now, why would they be asking for their digital ID later?
If you don't oppose these mandatory digital IDs, I worry you don't understand where this is going. The UK government has announced the intention to make digital IDs law for all adults to work in the UK. And I'm going to break down why that is a terrible idea. Firstly, it is arguably the biggest erosion of privacy we've seen to date. To make digital IDs compulsory is to risk turning the UK into a papers, please system. But then, of course, there is the mass surveillance that comes with this. The IDs are already set to be used for employment, but they're also earmarked for things like renting, banking, immigration status, childcare, benefits, tax, healthcare. And once these start to roll out, it can enable the surveillance of the population in a way that tracks everything from voting to shopping. You see, purpose creep is inevitable, and with the foundations in place, the addition of extra tracking and checkpoints is a trivial affair. And then we have the risk of such a huge, centrally controlled database of our most private data. That is an extraordinary honeypot for hackers and cybercrime. And the UK government does have something of a track record of fumbling data. But perhaps what concerns me the most about all of this is I think it's just a step in the CBDC plan, the central bank digital currency, the digital pound. Your digital identity linked with programmable money means the government can track everything in your life, move by move, transaction by transaction. This isn't tinfoil conspiracy. This is the complete ceding of control to your government. Use of your own money, benefits, housing, healthcare, travel, everything becomes at the mercy of the state. And this isn't about where on the political spectrum you sit. I'm sure it's going to be painted as left versus right, but that is wholly untrue. This is about your right to freedom, autonomy, and privacy. And this attack on all three is in the Trojan horse of stopping illegal immigrants from working in the UK, when digital IDs will do nothing to stop cash in hand illegal employment.
The government has just unveiled plans for mandatory digital ID. This isn't just a new ID system, it is a surveillance tool. Every time you use your digital ID to go to a bar, to rent, to travel, it will ping a central government database recording your every move. That means that the state can build a detailed map of your life, where you went, what you did, when you did it, tracking and watching your every move. This is a complete violation of your civil liberties. Data breaches, abuse, mission creep, the risks are literally enormous. And who guards the guardian? Who ensures that your data isn't going to be weaponized against you? The government was literally just embroiled in a scandal where they leaked personal information of 19,000 people fleeing the Taliban. Now, do you trust the government with your data? Digital ID itself is draconian. It has to be scrapped in order to protect privacy and freedom. We must resist this.
I don't understand how dangerous this is. If digital ID goes ahead, there's going to be data breaches, centralized control. Whoever runs the system has control over your daily life. Exclusion. No ID could mean no access to healthcare, travel, or even shopping. I think that's complete insanity. Loss of privacy. Every move, every purchase can be monitored. Whatever happens, do not wait until it's too late. Everyone needs to come together as one, regardless of religion, race, or wherever. We need to unite and we need to stand against digital ID. I do not comply.
Digital ID will become mandatory for employment. It's no longer and never has been a conspiracy theory. It will start with incentivizing you, making it more convenient, but it won't be mandatory at first. But slowly and slowly, as more people start to fall for the bullshit, they will make it mandatory. This is the precursor to a social credit system and a complete and utter crackdown on all of our freedoms. Digital currency, where you won't be able to spend it on certain things. A certain amount of carbon usage and you'll be given a carbon limit. Once you've had one too many steaks, no more for you. Once you've been driving around, can't have any more petrol, it's damaging the environment. This is the Big Brother state. You have one opportunity to resist it. Choose to resist digital ID or it will be the last choice you ever get to make. All tyrannies rule through fraud and force, but once the fraud is exposed, they must rely exclusively on force.
If you're a Brit living in the UK and care about your freedom, you need to hear this, because your financial future is in danger. The UK government has announced every adult will need a digital ID to prove their right to work in the country. And the basic infrastructure is already here because it will be built into the new gov.uk wallet app. It means that all your personal data, passport, driving license, health records, tax records will be pulled into one database inside one app on your phone. Now, this may sound convenient, but it's also one big target for data breaches, identity theft, fraud, censorship, and corporate power. It may start out as only being used to prove your ability to work in the UK, but eventually every service could be tied to your digital ID, making it way easier for the government to flag, limit, or ban you. Because here's the thing, whilst technology itself is neutral, it's about who controls it and how they use it. The government is selling this to you as a tool to tackle illegal migration. But the irony is that people can still arrive here illegally without any ID, yet citizens are now the ones that need to prove their ID. And this is how it works. They create a problem, then they swoop in with their solution that conveniently takes from you and gives to them. It's a slippery slope towards less freedom and more government control. In today's world where convenience is everywhere, you need to stop outsourcing your personal responsibility. Your freedom and your financial future are yours to protect, not the government's, not big tech's. And this isn't even an issue of left versus right, it's an issue of right versus wrong. First comes digital IDs, then comes central bank digital currencies, and along with it, a massive transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich. Once your identity and your money are tied together digitally, controlled by the state and big tech, it's game over.
I never get involved in this shit because I'm scared to voice my opinion most of the time. But as you probably know, they've announced that they're going to be trying to bring in digital IDs into the UK. This isn't good. This is a very frightening start down a very slippery slope towards tyranny, which has obviously already begun. But this is quite a big step up. And I mean, this is something that no one's ever voted for. No one actually wants, besides the people that are in power who conned their way into power by just lying about all the stuff they were going to do and then obviously haven't done it like most governments do. But this is a particularly bad case of that. And there is no real societal benefit for this happening. All this, we're going to prevent all this illegal work by making you have a digital ID. Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, when I apply for a job, I have to give my national insurance number and blah, 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 blah. The people working here illegally, they don't do that. So there's already a safe check for that. So that this is totally fucking pointless. The only reason for this is to centralise power and to fuck with people as much as you can for not liking the things that you do. So it's one step towards becoming China, which is fucking great. So, if you think you're going to be bringing in these digital IDs and we're just going to comply with that, go and fuck yourself.
The good news today is that we are going to be told that we must have a Brit card, a digital ID, and it's going to be brought in to stop the migrants coming here, to stop the boats. It's going to crush the gangs. Wow. I am so happy this is happening. I am so proud of this wonderful government that we have, that they're protecting us with a app on our phone. Well, people, I don't want a digital ID. I'd be interested to know if you want the government to be able to know all your information and it being shared with multiple agencies. Who knows who will have all our details?
I just heard Keir Starmer and his Labour government have decided to introduce a digital ID as a way to combat mass immigration here in the UK. what am I missing here? Because maybe I'm not smart enough, but if a physical ID doesn't prevent mass immigration, how on earth is a digital one going to solve this ongoing crisis that we have with lots of immigrants coming over here and wanting to stay here? Because let's face it, the government makes them as comfortable as possible, and then on one hand tell you, oh, we don't want them here. I really don't understand this. A digital ID. Surely this is just the government's way of trying to profit from an ongoing crisis that they themselves created in the first place. That has to be it. And the funniest thing is Keir Starmer turning around and saying, we're going to make this digital ID free. Yeah, no shit, because we're all queuing up to pay for this, right? Now, my question is, they've announced that you will not be able to work unless you have this digital ID. Okay, what if the whole nation just says, no, go away, we're not going to have this digital ID? Then what? Are they going to prevent the whole nation from working?
What's going on in the UK is absolutely insane. For years, people have been saying they're allowing illegal immigration because at some point they'll say we need to manage the illegal immigration, and the way to do this is by digital IDs. People have been predicting this for years. Ever since COVID, everyone was saying they will try to get this in. We've seen the mess with the COVID vaccine passports during that time. It was a catastrophe, and this would be even worse. This is not what the UK stands for. You are now seeing what is behind everything. This is all for control in the UK. I know that Iran has a similar system to these digital identification cards. This is a very un-British thing, and it's something to absolutely be aware of. I cannot believe what I'm seeing going on in the UK right now.
So now they're saying you can't work and you can't get a job in England if you don't have a digital ID. It reminds me of during COVID when they said you can't travel if you don't have the vaccine. But it turns out I traveled all the time during COVID, so I wouldn't take much notice of it. I'm not going to listen to or take orders from a rent boy enthusiast. He's not going to tell me what to do. And I noticed that the people that are defending it are men who stay in hotels with their wives and they sit in the chair in the corner and they invite another man round to finish off the job. Those are the men that are defending digital IDs. And it's funny because the government are saying it's because of illegal migration. So they're blaming it on something that's their fault. Illegal migration is their fault, but they're making us suffer because of the problem that they have caused. Problem, reaction, solution, right? That's just how it is. That's how it always goes.
You see that? These are the application details for the digital ID system in the United Kingdom. And what the application details state quite clearly is that this application, its design, its reason, is for fraud prevention, is for fraud prevention, is for fraud prevention, is for fraud prevention. The entire app is a fraud prevention, crime reduction and compliance application that the British government are stealthily applying to the population of the United Kingdom without the required permissions.
The Starmer regime and digital IDs. Why are they trying to bring in digital IDs? Is it really to stop all the illegal immigration? What is the devil in the detail? Well, in my opinion, this is a campaign to spearhead a social credit score. What is a social credit score? Well, a social credit score is a marker on where somebody is in society. So, for example, somebody that toes the government line, goes with the narrative and questions nothing, will have a high social credit score. Somebody who goes against the mainstream narrative will have a low social credit score. And here's the kicker. If you want to ostracize certain people from society, well then you lower the social credit score of the individual that has a high social credit score if they mingle with somebody that has a low social credit score. Yes, this literally does happen. And how would a digital ID work in regards to a social credit score? Well, if you have a digital ID, well, you can put anything onto that. It could ping off locations, sort of 5G masts. It could ping off Wi-Fi going into restaurants, any type of building you could imagine. And if implemented, and I'm not saying this is going to be a social credit score straight away, talking about 5, 6, maybe even 1 year down the line, but 5, 6 years down the line, if there was an event that happened, like the past event that happened in 2019, if an individual doesn't toe the line, they won't be able to get into the building. Oh, your digital ID card has pinged, you didn't get such and such, so you're not allowed into this building. Oh, you're on basic rations for a week because you said something undesirable online. And people think this is crazy, people think this is wacky, but this is literally the trajectory that we are on if we allow this. So it doesn't matter if you're liberal or conservative or you're apolitical, you don't want anything to do with it. This is a literal thing that can happen. And in my opinion, this has nothing to do with immigration. In my opinion, this is a problem, reaction, solution.
BritCard would link banking information, benefits, driving licence, education, health records, housing, voting rights, you name it. If it's about you, it'll be accessed via your BritCard. BritCard makes possible the tracking of your movements, what you post online, what protests you might attend, how you spend your money, and all of that data is stored forever. There would be no state-sanctioned opt-out. The paper makes plain all citizens would become digitally visible to the state across every transaction. There in black and white is the promise you'll be tracked every moment of every day, waking or sleeping. Contemplate, if you will, the potential of being profiled in this way so that the state knows your views on this, that and everything, whether they align with the orthodoxy. What happens if you refuse to comply with some or other future diktat? Will you lose access to your funds? Will you have your freedom to move curtailed? BritCard is the road to a destination in which privacy itself is impossible, forbidden in fact. And as always, it's pitched as all for our own good and the ultimate C word, which is convenience. It's free, of course. And what do we know now about free stuff? If it's free, you're the product. I say no BritCard for what it truly and obviously is. The pre-prepared, oven-ready solution that was written up before the problem it purports to solve even existed. It's my opinion that BritCard was good to go before the pandemic, certainly before the national borders were abandoned and the process began of shepherding into Britain hundreds of thousands of migrants.
There it is, isn't it? This is the start of controlling every single thing that we do. The start of a dystopian society. And we allowed this mug to do it all to us. He manufactured the problem of the illegal migration and gave us the solution. Played right into his hands. We are truly fucked.
Your thoughts on the digital ID card? Bloody useless. Just control. They want to know where I go, who I see, what I spend. Next they'll tax me for breathing or charge me per fart.